So we are going to take a look at unions. We're also going to be looking at except and intersect operators. And unions, except, and intersect all operate on the result set. And so they are referred to as set operators because they are manipulating the result set. Okay, so basically the select, the from, the where, all of that has been processed and you have a result set. That is what union, except, and intersect look at. So for unions, this is task number 7. And let's move our closing comment down. And for this first one, we're going to be using the examples database. And we're going to be selecting the invoice number, invoice date, and invoice total columns from active invoices. We're going to be filtering on invoice date, and that needs to be greater than or equal to February 1st, 2016. And we do want to create an alias for source, and the alias is going to be the word active. So we're also going to be including source in our list of columns. So let's hold off on the select a second. We're going to be using the active invoices table. And our where statement is going to be looking at invoice date greater than 02/01/2016. Now, what we want it to select. We want active to display as source. We want invoice number, invoice date, and invoice total. So active in this case is kind of like a calculated column. We have a source variable that we are creating. If we look in active invoices, you're not going to see a column called source. So we're kind of creating that column, right? And that column is going to have the word active in it. So pretty much everything we display is an active invoice. And the data that it's actually going to pull from the table is invoice number, invoice date, and invoice total. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, and you can see we created this column and we put the word active in it. So it's kind of like a calculated column in a way. We're just displaying a description. And then we've got invoice number, date, and total, which it's actually pulling from the table. And we are going to comment this one out and do one that's slightly different. So for this next one, actually I lied, we're not going to comment it out. The next one we do is going to be very similar, but instead of active as the source, we're going to have it display paid. So we're basically going to copy this select, paste it below, and now the source is going to be paid. We still have invoice number, date, and total, but this time instead of active invoices, we are going to look at paid invoices. And as far as the invoice date, the filter goes, our where statement is going to be the same. But this time, you're going to sort. And we're going to sort by invoice total. and we want it in descending order. So let me get rid of the semicolon above that. So we've got two different selects that are going to run. We have active and paid. And right now, because they're separate, when we execute, you're going to see them in two separate windows. So we've got all the active ones here, all the paid ones below. So what Union will let us do is it'll take these two result sets. It'll take this result and this result. It lets us combine it into one single result set. And all we need to do between the two selects is put union. Enter that keyword. Let me get rid of the semicolon here. Because when you use union, all of this is one big old command. Okay? Before, we had two separate selects, but because we're using union, we have to get rid of that semicolon because now it's just one big, huge command. And let's execute. So now you get it in one window. Okay? And it indicates whether it's paid or active. Now our source column makes total sense, right? This says, oh yeah, that invoice is paid. Nope, this one is active. Makes sense because we're pulling data from two different tables. And at this point, we are done with this exercise. So let us move this down and comment it out and save.